Alright, so I'm just going to take a quick look and take you through what the translative FK system looks like that I've been working on. Let's check out the scene. And the first thing I want us to pay attention to, if you could see that, just so that we could see exactly how everything is turning and where the elbow would actually be, I kind of just did a little puff here to model the elbow. And so let's just move this down. You could see how it's automatically orienting itself to work in a natural way that the body would move. If we pull on the elbow up here, you could see that it's still doing the same thing. Let's rotate it up some more. Popping it in and out, and that elbow is staying properly articulated with the body. So no matter what we do, this is just always going to move in the correct fashion. You can see that right here. Let's move it again and move this in. Now, one of the things that I worked on from the last video are these controllers here. We'll see that the controllers actually, you could pull on them, and then there's a point where they pop and break. I kind of like this instead of keeping them glued on to the geometry, but this is a nice little trick that I created. So these are actually controlling the geometry, but they're also point snapped and locked to the same positions in space as the geometry are themselves. And then once they break, they'll actually just pull off so the animator knows they went a little too far, which is something they may want to do. They may want the elbow over here and they got it in this position, so they just animate with it there. But this will become extremely difficult to animate over time if it's pulled too far out. And you can see as it moves, it's pretty easily locked back in. So it rather rotate itself than pull itself off. And that's true for both of them. I'll later post another video where they're both actually just locked completely in space, so that they stay locked onto where the arm position is also. And then you'll see that as it gets pulled back, the translations will still change, but they won't pull off the geometry at all. One of the issues with that is if you pull it back, let's say to like 30, and you could see it here, when you're trying to bring it back, it will slowly come back before it moves around, just like that, except there's no feedback. So you guys let me know what you think about that and which way you think is best to go. One of the things that's a little bit harder to achieve is the pinning. For the pinning to really work, these should stay locked on. It just seems to work easier because if I select this here and we come here and we set that by itself in space, you'll see that this does stay locked. And this always tries to orient itself, but when we go here to move everything, this also tries to move in a quasi-rotational way. One of the big tricks that are going on here is all the translative information is being turned to rotations, and all the rotational information that's coming from the joints in the geometry are being fed back to the arm, and driving it to also move in a rotational way. So a couple of different mechanisms were built in to get this working. So with that, just let me know what you think. As this develops further, I'll be trying to implement this new system with everything locking in with the enhanced IK arms that are in my other videos, so that when the shoulders put in, they'll all work. And then another aspect is I don't think that I'm going to keep it so that you could also rotate the arm closed. Think everything's going to be just translation based, and it should give the animator more control and less room to kind of fudge around with extra controls, and then they'd actually have to go back into the graph editor and play with those instead of getting the graph editor with translations, which seems to be much easier to control. So with that, I will catch you in the next video. Please leave your comments. Let me know what you think so I could develop this a bit further before I start to post how to build it. So catch you in the next one.